We're going to talk about meeting with sellers and some of the things that we want to ask. And the objective is to draw certain information out of them in order for you to be able to place them in a position where they're going to be more amicable. List price, commission, all the things that people will push back on when you're having those conversations. Okay. Let's talk about when you talk with sellers. Okay. A couple things. The real focus here is to have a conversation with the seller, asking questions more than just giving answers, right? We want to be able to have them draw out the information in order for us to be able to assess. Often they come out, well, we don't want to pay a commission, or we think our house is worth 400 and everybody else is at 350. Or sometimes they come out beyond something we can easily accommodate or work through. We want to try to make it amicable where we can have something we can communicate and work through together. In some of these specific things, they even recommend asking the sellers separately the same questions, so we can dissect and figure out who's being realistic and who's not as motivated, right? You can start feeling some of that. One of the questions is, how would you rate your home? 10 is HGTV. When you put it in that kind of perspective, now it's okay. My house would show up on HGTV at 10, even though they probably thought it was a 9. But now they realize it probably wouldn't show up on HGTV if 10 is that, we're probably more like a 6 or a 7. All right. That's what we want to make sure we start drawing. We want to pull back some of the layers of, we think our house is the best house in the neighborhood. We love everything about it. And people naturally just focus on all the positive things about their home. They become emotionally invested and they're not realistic. And nobody wants to leave money on the table, right? We hear this all the time. I don't want to leave money on the table. Hey, the market's going to tell us if we're leaving money or not. We're always focused there. And then there's another question, and some of these are a little rhetorical. They're asking to prep them mentally. How honest do you want me to be through the process? Okay. Now, no one's going to tell you to lie to them, but I can't just overly filter everything, or we're never going to get moving forward. So I want to make sure we prepare them mentally that we're going to have some honesty here. How honest do you want me to be? And then in that same question, we need to get permission to be honest. I think some of us take our biggest possession a little too emotional, and then they take our feedback as critical and personal, right? But we need to have the permission from them to be honest. Sometimes just asking that gives you that ability to be able to be more honest with them without having to filter everything. What is it about moving or selling that stresses you, concerns you, confuses you the most? You'll have to sort through words that make sense. What about this process? What about selling? And then try to find those key negative influences that's affecting the way that they feel about the process. Most people probably fall within about 2 or 3 items that causes the most stress. Changing schools, moving all your stuff, it's expensive and it's a pain. It's just very disruptive. You lose a week of your life. There's a lot of that comes into it. And then some of them are specifically about, we need this much money out and we're concerned we're not going to get it, right? Whatever it is, that's what we're going to make sure we alleviate the most. And then we always want to know what their motivation. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to sell your house? It's good to know this. Sometimes you don't get that information just by doing a listing agreement and then posting it. And you realize later, no wonder they're posting it 5, 10 over market. They're cool staying here 6 months. One of the things I used to come back with them is, I'm okay if we go a little over market. Are you okay showing your house every other day for the next 3 months? Right? We're going to make sure we talk about pain. And most people don't want to show their house every other day for the next 3 months. They don't. It's pain. It's very painful. They're people you don't know walking through your house all the time. It's very frustrating. It's very disruptive in your life. So we always want to, and I always think about this whenever I'm doing, I'm not going to give the buyer side questions that she gave, but even on the seller side, I think it's always about motivation. Why are we selling our house, right? We got to have a purpose and a reason. And if they're very motivated, then we're going to give them a shortcut to get them moved faster. And then there's other things that you can ask for relationship wise. I don't remember how I was putting this context, but one of them was, do you have a favorite memory or two in this house? Now, this is coming from the one that wrote this is very much into gifts and things like that. The lady that was presenting all this stuff. And this can give you a really good idea on what you can give them as a memory of the home. Okay. It could be we loved spending time in the backyard and there's a play set. Maybe we find something along that setup as we give them as a gift for working with us. And it helps in creating a purpose or a reason for others to buy the home as well. Maybe that's what's really been a highlight for them. We can highlight that for future buyers as well. How does somebody, and this one's asked a little strange, but the objective is, now I'll ask it and then you'll think through it. How does somebody win with you or lose with you? So we're having this relationship and I'm selling and I'm working with you. What's really critical for you? Do I need to give you a lot of communication? I have some clients that are texting me every day. Me, I don't need all that. I'll come up with a plan. And if it's not moving, I'm going to be chasing you to get this thing moved. But not everybody's that way. They want to know every showing. What do they like? What do they don't like? And I knew that communication is incredibly important for them. And when they start doing that with me, I do it back to them because I already know that's what they want. I haven't even thought about asking them this because I don't want someone working with me that doesn't feel like they're getting communicated with and I'm not presenting the right information. I always try to be upfront with a lot of these things if I know it's important to them. Other people just don't care. I don't care. Throw it on the market. Call me when you get an offer. And I have others that are just like that. Most are not that way, but I have a few that are. They'll walk away from it, and then you just call me when you're ready to work a deal. Another question you can ask is what makes a 10 experience with you? It's just trying to create a dialogue. What's really important to you? And then in the process, if whatever it takes to get a 10, it's good for you to ask up front. If it's okay, I earn a 10, would you consider review or referral to friends and family? These are things that you don't want to wait until after closing to try to accumulate. I can promise you from experience, I get very few reviews completed. It's like 1 in 10. Like no one completes them. And I know that preparing them ahead of time will give me a higher chance that they're going to complete the review. But these are things you can plant going forward. Like I thought those were really good questions on how you want to approach the sellers when you're going to listing appointments beyond just, hey, here's the listing agreement, here's all the static information. We want to build some rapport with them and understand their motivation and how to best win with them.